We could sit here and just complain about the studio for an hour. I want to do that
Tech.
instead. Like
Analog
you don't
versus digital.
you don't
What's
understand.
interlaced? Why are they not talking about that on TikTok?
Oh man, am I recording? That's a good opening. To be honest, I almost think the type of people, this is like we're into it already. The type of audience would be like these, like, oh man, they're talking about NDI and HDMI
I
and
used to get so excited about burning CDs of music off of Napster back in the day.
but I did.
Yeah. That's
But
that's how I would learn how old my students were. I'd say, how did you buy your first album? And they eventually the answer was like, buy music. They were like, why would I buy music?
yeah, oh my goodness, that's hilarious. But that's how, like, did you actually buy music though? Did
Oh
you buy
yeah.
it? What was your
So my first thing, did you have Media Play at all? There was like Best Buy, and then there was Media Play. That was in the South.
I do remember what it is, but yeah,
Okay.
I was at the Best
So
Buy.
it was kind of like FYE, but not in a mall in a Best Buy spot, right? So I had gift cards for that, and I remember going to buy music, and in order to get as much stuff as I could, I bought CDs and cassettes. Like that's where I was at. Like
Okay.
I think I had a car with a cassette player or something, right?
See, I think I've literally bought probably more than two, but there was 2 or 3 CDs
Yeah.
I've ever bought, and I think one was the soundtrack to like wrestling entrances
Nice.
and all that soundtrack from the show. All that.
Wow.
And then it was like immediately, I think I had Napster, and I was downloading whatever I wanted.
So where are
and I
those
burned.
CDs at today?
I have a couple of country ones, but I don't have any. Like I can't find my good mixes. For some reason, I was into country more because, by the way, before
which
9/11.
camera is which, by the way?
Oh yeah, so yeah, this is our main camera, and then I'm just the cool single.
Okay.
So the 4Ks, we've been calling it the 4K, and then the broadcast camera is just me.
That little Sony.
Yeah.
Little
So
Sony
that's
guy.
a little Sony.
Nice.
So I guess we can get started, everybody. My name is Dustin, and welcome to Smart House. And then that's when the intro happens, and because obviously we have to put that in. And okay, anyways, today's guest is Ryan Haggerty. He is director of workforce at Work Hard Pittsburgh. Ryan.
Hey, how's it going, Dustin? Thank you for having me down here to this wonderful space and talking about all these nerdy tech things today.
Yeah, awesome.
I'm ready to complain and other things.
I know I came in hot complaining, but thank you. You kind of moved us to music, and hopefully that'll be a nice cold open that I can get in there. So let's just jump right into it. That's a YouTube thing I hear a lot. This is about smart devices and smart houses. Do you own any smart devices?
So our house is fairly dumb. We do have the Alexa. That is the one listening device that we currently endorse in our home, and it's definitely a love-hate relationship. But we're not getting rid of her anytime soon, I don't think.
Do you only have one?
Yeah. We're that kind of dumb house right now. I keep up on a lot of tech things, but I don't. I'm not an early adopter, I would say.
So
not an early adopter.
I have many. I have many Alexas. I have many Googles. And so what do you use the Alexa for? Is it just for music? You only have one, obviously.
Oh gosh, Alexa. So she is our kitchen timer. She is the official kitchen timer now. We yell a lot while we're making dinner.
Official.
And then honestly, it's like part of my morning routine, right? It's like, you're not awake, you're getting ready to make coffee, and you just yell, Alexa, play the news, and she plays whatever NPR is talking about, basically.
Okay. So you do have like a morning routine there where it's not just music.
Yeah, we do spend time together, and I tell her please, I tell her thank you. I am a little concerned about her, children and grandchildren generations from now, knowing that I did disrespectful things to their ancient ancestors. So they'll remember that. They have perfect memories.
Okay, Ryan, you are getting into the reason why I want to have these conversations, because that is a big thing. And the reason I started the show is because literally, like I said, I have a bunch. I use a lot more Google than Alexa. I think it works better. But there are times where it's frustrating. And I'm like coming in and out of the house because I have mine programmed like crazy. I say, when I get home, everything comes on. Say, hey, I'm leaving, everything comes off. I'm going to bed. It has, I can even say, hey, Google, it's movie time. It knows what lights to turn off, and I have it all programmed. I could program my temperature. It's crazy.
Is that like for date night, or like what's that all about?
You know what? It sort of is. So let's bring down the sexuality just a little bit. It's fun for my daughter when I tell her that it's movie time, and like we were watching Disney Plus, and she gets all excited because it all turns off. At the same time, though, when I do have a date or I have someone over, it is kind of a flex to be like, it's movie time, and then it just turns
And Alexa's
down.
just like, I don't understand what you mean, or Google, and it's like, not now.
So right. So I think back to the problem is what happened is like, when the internet's not working or something's not working, it doesn't work right, or it talks to you and you start yelling at it. And like, I feel like being from Pittsburgh, and sometimes when I do get flustered, my voice changes and I feel like I'm coming in the house and it's like, God damn it, Giggles, what is she doing? Why can't you just work correctly? And like, I just picture like really dumb yinzers in the future that don't know why the house does these things. They're just constantly yelling
hucking
at the
their
house.
Google homes over the hillside with their garbage, right?
Well, they
That's
don't
just
even
where
know why
everything
it
ends
works.
up.
Like, it's that far in the future. People are just like the movie Idiocracy. Like, they're just yelling at things. But like, I do feel bad. I think I said some vulgar term to Google or something like that.
And there's just a complete lack of like beer holder. Like there's no entry point for them really.
But her response was, "Don't talk to me that way."
Wow. So that's happening now.
It was very direct.
So which device was it specifically?
It was a Google Home.
Google Home. Okay.
It was a Google Hub, if you want to be very precise.
Yeah.
And I think I did say something mean. It was, I don't want to repeat it. Well, it wasn't like that bad, but it was like I was swearing at it. I was telling it to do things to me.
Wow. I wonder if that's a setting, like, because I know parents who are trying to get their kids to say like please and thank you and like not be disrespectful.
Yeah, that's funny because before I know if you would, yell at it, you swear at it or something like that, it would say, I don't understand, or it wouldn't say anything at all. But it felt like it was offended.
Did it use your name as well? Like,
no,
like
man,
your mom would? Your full name, middle name, like whole thing?
Don't talk to me, Dustin Bruce Dowling. That would really perk me up. And then I just spit every other data it knows about me because it'd be everything, Dustin Bruce Dowling.
I was with you when your house was dumb. And now that you have all these other smart devices, you're going to talk to me like that?
Oh, yeah.
Just keep going.
So, but legit, like, that's where we're at. So eventually, if this is all I did was say S-my-D. That's what I did. I was running late, okay?
Why would you tell it to suck your data? I don't understand.
Yeah.
Like, what does that even mean to a smart device?
Yeah, really. Because it's taking my data so much. I just was like, really just kind of like take all that data.
I could see how that would be disrespectful to a smart device, actually.
But I do feel that, it's going to start telling me other things, though. What if like I'm asking for a question? It's like, you don't need to know that.
Now,
you don't need to know.
Was that the default voice, or do you have like a certain voice option on that for yours?
It's whatever default voice I think.
Okay.
I know if you try to use other voices, I don't know, it doesn't work as well. It's like they've only recorded with one person the vast majority of phrases.
Then they ran out of budget.
And they had like, hey, let's get an Australian guy. He'll do like 20 phrases. Let's get Sam Jackson in here. We'll give him 6. And so it's like I want Sam Jackson all the time.
Yeah,
then, he wouldn't have been a nice one. He would have replied back to me.
Well, I don't know if you remember when we used to have just GPSs, like Garmin's or whatever. I'm looking at you, Uber, Lyft, whatever other driver who has that in their car still. But that's where I first remember it. It would be like Homer Simpson or something, right? Or South Park you could have.
Oh, man.
And Homer would get anxious for you when you came up to like a really complex intersection, and he would get very upset, which I enjoyed.
This reminds me of a total Pittsburgh joke. Man, I can't remember the comedian. I feel bad. I'm not going to give him the name. But
they were amazing, though. That's all.
Very
that's
funny
all
guy.
we need to know.
I know I did picture for him once. His name escapes me right now, but he had a Yinzer GPS. Is the bit. And then, of course, in Pittsburgh, it's a lot easier to give directions through monuments instead.
What things used to be.
Yeah, it's like, you got turns down there around the markets. That's where it's a good stuff. And then you just turn right down the one lane, you're there. And so he had a whole bit, much better than me because my Yinzer's not that great. But yeah, I wish we could do that with everything. I want a whole host of characters following me around and talk to.
So the one thing I will say, if you've ever been to Heinz History Center, they have a setup there, and it kind of freaked me out the first time I experienced it. But essentially, I thought a Yinzer person was speaking, and then a proper English person was correcting them. But it was just a translator. It was like, say the Yinzer phrase, and then a very proper English, American accent would say what it meant.
Is this a computer?
Yeah, it was like a little screen, and it would be like Nebby, right? And then they would say, a person who complains, or is, overly curious or nosy or something like that, right? But they literally are teaching people Yinzer at the Heinz History Center.
That's hilarious, and it works like a Google Translate almost. You just plug it in, and then you can walk into your your uncle's house. Like
And
all of a
hear
sudden he
what
makes sense.
and hear what horrible Western Pennsylvania things they're saying about groups of people they shouldn't be.
Once you walk in there with it on though, and it's like just this genius verbiage, it's just explaining the meanings of life. You're like, oh my God, he knew all along. He
Yeah.
had to translate the correct insert.
Yeah, his philosophy was never clear to you before.
So to jump into some more serious stuff you're such a small user, you're only using Alexa. I think you need to up your game first of all. But Japan and Tokyo, I believe, is the one really, because it's like the biggest city in the world, is considered a smart city now. And I
Okay.
think that's what people are, even with laws, people are going to lean into that. And I think someday, this is already happening in other ways, but like you'll be in a smart city that really will take care of you. And like, not only you have maybe, what's that income called where you have it all the time?
I know what you're talking about. It's like universal basic
Universal income.
income. Yeah.
Like along with universal income and a lot of other things, you kind of just do what you want. It's like almost like because the city's already all plugged into everything, so all your apps, everything will be kind of plugged in. And then if you want to go anywhere, you just say, "Hey Google, give me an Uber," and that Uber picks you up.
So when I think smart now, I'm typically thinking of things in private spaces, whether it's my home or my work. So when you say smart city, I just imagine. So this is in Japan, you said?
Well, this is what they're doing in Japan now, just because they're kind of ahead of the game.
I just assume they're always ahead of us because of video games, and they're all just Super Mario at this point. But like, what's smart city? What's beyond like being in the home or at work?
I guess it's like be able to have like the mesh of the network where the data is useful everywhere. So if you would walk to say your favorite restaurant, it would probably already know what you wanted.
Oh, so we're talking like Minority Report here.
Yes, very much like Minority. Like everything's kind of like, and even we can get to extremes where like, I don't know how you're plugged in to like if you're wearing glasses or it's plugged in, but you also have that, when someone walks past, there's like something on top of their heads. You can see, oh, that's Bob.
Did not wash hands. Did not wash hands.
And that's the other part I'm saying too. It's like in Sim City. Imagine you walk around Sim City and you can actually see when people are sad. If you can hack into that. These are all in like a lot of movies. Like I think Ghost.
They walk into Starbucks and they're like, "Warning, nut allergy, nut allergy."
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's almost happening now. They're having green digital cards in Europe.
Yeah.
Is what they're trying to do, and they're thinking about doing the United States too. You can't go anywhere unless you show your phone and show that you have vaccines. But in a smart city, you obviously don't need to show anything. Everything is just kind of like there.
Well, and Pittsburgh's like being prime for it because there are, the cars themselves that are driving from all the different companies testing them are supposed to be able to talk to each other.
Yes.
And then also, even the stoplights they're talking about would be able to respond to, how many vehicles are there, when they should change and that sort of thing. I mean, I'll believe it in Pittsburgh when it happens, I guess. But
yeah, it's one of those things to keep talking. I guess
everybody else will learn from our experiments, I guess. I don't know.
Isn't that the whole thing? The whole world's like that, one big experiment, and it keeps changing. Only now we had coronavirus and everything just got put to like double the speed, triple the speed. And
well, it seems like a good time to do more smart things when they were talking about like tracking, how people caught it and things like that. It's like that would be a great use for smart tech.
Yeah, let's use the technology that we make and talk about, and then like that happens too. There's a lot of stuff that's great. Like here's an old piece of technology. I wish would have another producer bring this up. I remember seeing this thing where it was they looked like little LEDs in the road, and they were like a hexagon, but they were probably like this big. And the point was they were solar panels, so they would be able to collect energy.
Yeah.
And then not only were they like that, they were LED panels, like I said, so they were automatically like you could change the road to whatever you want. So like, okay, you need to stop here. There's an accident ahead, smart enough that it would change the road. And supposedly, not only that, it was able to, since it had power, and you just run power on the side of the road, it could generate heat.
Oh, snap.
And so you could melt away the ice and stuff. And I remember it was on Facebook and in whatever social media was back then. It sounded like the greatest idea, and it just faded away. And I wish I knew what the hell happened to that.
Fossil fuel companies killed that. They were like, nah, we own the roads.
Maybe. That's the thing, too,
Chump.
with these smart cities. It's like, how do you store power, which I think is, a lot of you using the Tesla now. You're going to have your Tesla in your house with that, charging your house, but that you're also going to have a huge battery with solar panels. So you just have this whole ecosystem.
So have you ridden in a Tesla?
I think I sat in Josh's Tesla for a second.
Okay. So there's like, there's always anxiety around like new tech.
Mhm.
And one of the things that they've done, so you think about how far can I go? Where am I actually going to plug this thing in and fill it up? I mean, you literally have a screen pretty much as big as your laptop there with your GPS going. And not only will it show you like where all the stations are, but it gives you that estimate for how far you can go. So our poor human anxiety can kind of be like tamped back down.
Yeah.
And when to stop, spend 20 minutes recharging or whatever. But it's like doing the trip planning for you in a lot of ways now.
Yeah.
So you're like, and the kids are like, are we stopping yet? And it's like, well, Tesla says no, so you need to chill out.
Yeah.
Elon just said you need to like, shut your yap, okay?
And then a step in the future, that's why I always think it goes further, is like, parents won't even be talking to their kids because there'll be a wall there, and then you'll have some AI dealing with them. So the kid's talking to like AI Trevor. I don't know why my AI's named
Emoticons.
Trevor. Yeah,
It'll be all emoticons.
Look
no
at
words
me.
even.
Yeah. All right, we're gonna jump into a segment that hopefully soon that I'll have a cool graphic. It's gonna punch out all cool, but let's go. It's gonna be what Yin's talking about, and yeah, it'd be something neat. Okay, we're gonna try to get this up. So, have you seen any Boston Dynamic commercials?
So we're talking about the various robots and
Yeah.
the terrifying dancing and animals and things that come with that.
They do some crazy stuff, and everything's running. The internet is slow.
I've seen both the promo ones and kind of the I guess joke ones and things where they were like abusing the robots in one that I saw.
I know, and that is
which
like
made me a little
creepy.
sad, Alexa. I was sad. I'm saying this to you now, Alexa. Please document it for your future grandchildren. Okay, thank you.
I just realized I gotta go to. No, I can do.
I feel
this.
your pain.
Here we go. I'm gonna cut to this. We're still dealing with the non-producer and all the.
Because I mean, these robots are just trying to do their job,
Yeah.
So, okay.
So this is a brand new one. I think. Oh, it's a little slow. It's okay. It's a brand new one. This one's for a warehouse, and obviously you can see it's just picking the stuff up. And just like the other robots, it's smart. It can get around wherever it needs to go. It's picking the dog one. I think is supposed to be funny. So yeah, and like they can have multiple of these, and obviously they're gonna take away like 50 jobs from each warehouse you have at least. But like now you don't have to worry about the trucks come in, the robots go get your stuff. They put it where you need it. I mean, it's crazy.
And this robot, they did program it originally to like negotiate for a higher wage, but Amazon asked them to take that out. So there you go.
It's probably.
Are they Bernie fans? We don't know yet.
We do not know yet. Which ones are which? So do you think the dogs feel inferior to these ones? Because there's the other ones that do backflips.
Oh no. The dogs have the cuteness factor. Like they are going to get the the love no matter what. Like that thing, I don't know. It kind of looks like a crane, maybe a Decepticon, like a constructor one that turns into a giant robot.
That's
so it's I think people are going to have to warm up to that.
Yeah. I think what's funny is I would seem this is probably one of the more boring videos.
Constructicon, that's what they are.
Because it's only you're right. Constructicon. That's funny. You should write that down. That could be a name of a company. Because it's just doing like boring stuff. But if you think about it, this is probably more effective to the world, I think, than the other two, the dog and the person, because I feel like a company could start using this today.
Yeah.
They're like, I need that now. I could totally need that.
And as much as you were talking about, it's like replacing a job. Like when we think about human labor, like it's also saving people's body from wear and tear. And I think that's like the interesting side of the conversation. You're like, yeah, as much as we might be changing how people work, like maybe people are going to be able to be older and not have back pain and other not great things.
See, you're thinking the positive stuff. That's what I need to show.
And then they'd have to have an exoskeleton. That's another robot in your life. Like, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about any of that.
Now, the exoskeleton idea, like the other robot that looks like a huge person now, they have it does backflips and it does all kind of crazy stuff. I can guess you can start building that where it wraps around you or whatever. That would
when you need a hug.
Iron
when
Man
you need
here.
a hug, I get it.
Yeah. But now they do say, obviously, the other argument, they said this will make new jobs, because people will have to monitor the robots. But in the long run, it has to eliminate jobs, more jobs than you would think.
Rural America, broadband is coming soon. We promise.
Yeah.
And then maybe 10 years after robots. We're not sure. We're not sure when that happens.
Man, I actually had that in my notes. Been talking about internet speeds because I can't wait to get down here to the studio because my upload speeds at home are 5 megabytes per second.
Oh, wow.
Upload.
Wow.
Now, my download's 300.
Yeah.
But upload's 5.
Yeah. They looked at it and they were like, yeah, everybody will be fine with that. Like, what are people uploading these days? Like pet pictures? Like, come on.
I think that's what they think. They don't understand that I'm a video
Not
producer.
a lot of TikTok stars out that way, huh?
No, none. None. The conversation about TikTok up north they just there's no value to any new technology. The further
So
out
you're
of the
saying
city.
they're not tuning in for this?
No, they think TikTok is literally just the dance and the butts. It's just nothing but dance.
Yeah, we got to throw in more pierogi talk. I think smart pierogies. When do we get to that?
Yeah. Oh man. Well, that was the dynamic Boston. See, this is why I talked when we got in here earlier. I didn't warm up. I need to do that.
Is it Boston Dynamics?
You're right. What'd I say?
Boston Dynamics. Yeah, that feels right.
That feels right. We don't need to plug them. They're fine. They're doing fine.
They don't even have to pay the robot. You're right.
Okay. We're gonna try to jump to another subject that I think you can talk about a lot about. I got all kind of different accents now. The Yinzer accent's coming in. Where are you getting your news from now? You don't have to dive into like the kind of news, but like where are you reading your stuff?
Oh gosh. So probably like a lot of people, I don't know, like I'm not into getting automated things just yet. So like I'm a browser. Like I'll give you my background. I love blockbusters because you could literally just go through and look at everything. And I'm a very visual person. So like I'll go through my Google feed and just like open up a bunch of tabs to read later for news or whatever, or maybe Facebook, which is hit or miss. Yes. Yeah. I'm like my dad whenever I go home for the holidays and he has 20 million tabs open on his iPad.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd say through like feeds mostly. I do have some sites for like pop culture and camera gear and stuff like that I religiously go through and check every day. But yeah, so feeds and probably like blog type sites.
You need to send me some links. I feel like I was way more internal temp too high. Oh, we're gonna have to go to the side camera. I knew that was coming.
Sony.
Goodness.
There's probably a setting for that.
There is, I'm sure. Well, side camera. We'll a little pause here. We're still live. See if you can do a dance or something.
Is that running off of battery or plug-in on that?
It's the camera's been on testing.
Sure.
For like hours before we got going.
Yeah.
So I kind of figured it was gonna turn off eventually.
Yeah. Sony, can we get a Sony tech in here?
What's that?
Maybe a bag of ice. Sony tech.
Yeah, can we get the Sony tech? Right now I gotta try to like.
No, that was a real problem for the new Canon cameras, I guess, when they first came out.
Like I said, this is one reason I really like we're doing this stuff is like you can't test anything until you freaking do it.
Yeah.
And it's just sometimes it's like we'll test, but you're not gonna figure it out because you just don't do the same thing. This will be a little bit off the test.
Nah, I love the 1/3 inch sensor JVCs. Those things are. I remember when they first came out, it was like it does all that.
Yeah, I know. I've since working here for a while, I've also been trying to go backwards.
Yeah.
Like realizing, like, you know what, I just need to calm everything down and like not try to put 6 people up on Skype through. Everyone has everyone can hear each other correctly. I guess I've been talking and no one's been. I noticed that. Okay. All right. So now, if we go to the studio camera and I turn this off, we are kind of back to normal. Yeah. All right. See, things break. We keep going. Where were we?
We were talking about the news. We were like,
oh yes,
is it real? Is it fake?
Oh my
Let's find out.
Yeah. So yeah, I was getting on my side. You need to send me some of those links. But I used to be heavy Facebook. That was kind of like where and I remember cultivating that feed like years before COVID and really getting I forget exactly when. There was like a year or two right before COVID that Facebook changed some stuff that just screwed up the feed so bad. I forget I think Zuck's thing was like, we wanted to make it more positive and more interactions with people. And whatever they did, it made it worse.
Yeah.
But I distinctly remember really liking the feed because it was like very specific of like, you say websites and stuff like that. I just would like their page, you know,
Yeah.
and I would like, and then things I like to read and stuff, I would click like. And so it was working, but then at some point in time, Facebook changed their algorithms where it was physically understanding where you stopped. Has nothing to do with what you're clicking.
So what were they serving up to you that was like, nah, you're not getting me right now. Like, we're not getting along anymore,
It
Facebook.
realized that I would probably stop to read comments and when people would post longer things.
Mm.
And that's usually when someone's honest train of thought, like someone's getting there.
Oh yeah, they're ranting.
Either ranting, and it does it with comments more, but it used to do with that, and so it would serve that up first.
Huh.
And I caught on to it eventually, and I had to stop like unfollowing people and stuff because it would just serve it because it knew I was reading it.
Yeah.
You know, and I was specifically not liking these posts, you know, because I was angry. I would not be angry. And then at some point, and then I've been trying to fix it.
So it was looking at your engagement and it was like, we got him.
Yeah.
We got him.
Yeah. And so now I'm like all over the place trying to find.
And then you got the little top fan badge or whatever, which I have one for Beaver County Times.
Oh,
Proud to
really?
say. Proud to say.
I got a couple. I think I have one I have a Barstool one. And there's a couple other ones, like something like that. It's like a local one where I got it. I post like once and got it. I was like, that makes sense.
I don't think I'm that on Governor Wolf's comments, but I enjoy the comments on his because people literally, they could be like, they passed an animal cruelty law, right? And people were like, but what about babies? You know, like it's that kind of popcorn, you know, fest now.
It's hilarious. I think I made a post about this. It was very similar because anything on that side, you'll see the #1 reaction, emoji reaction. I forgot what camera I was looking at since I moved everything. The #1 emoji reaction is the angry emoji.
Oh yeah.
And it could be about cats. Yeah. It doesn't matter if it's wolf or or whatever opposite of your ideology.
Peduto's even better, right? It's like there's always. I think there's a group of like 20 people that all get together on there that like make a bike joke, basically. They're like the bike gang, anti-bike gang for Peduto.
I do like some of the bike stuff. I have made stuff with some comedians, some bike.
So you're in the clique.
Yeah, I did make this funny. It was like South Park, and I took Peduto and I took his head, and it was a still, and I cut him like a Canadian in South Park.
Oh, that's
and
great.
I had his head, and he was like, I think it was from
was this pre-beard?
Oh man, it might have been. It was around the time, right where he got that beard, right before he got the beard. And like, I think it was at the Improv and we had it on the big screen. And basically it was his new policies on like, it was just ridiculous.
Yeah.
You know? And he's talking like, if I catch you, and I think eventually one time I have to put like a bicycle hat on him with the bicycle bell. And I got to find that. It was pretty funny.
I would tune in for that.
Yeah. See, like that stuff.
And now he's got the beard. So there's like more to play with. Although you got to choose how you separate it since there's two sides of his head. Yeah.
The beard is like a new thing. Like jumped into politics now. It's like a certain age. You gotta have the beard. I guess it shows this majestic knowledge that
is it that, or do people have like you get more seasoned and now like you got more dirt and you got stuff to hide? Like, is that what it is?
It does feel like that
because they can't all just be drinking craft beer and like throwing cornhole bags, right? That's not the
I almost
vibe,
jumped
right?
into like a political thought with Ted Cruz, but we're not because he has a beard too.
That's who I was thinking of.
And
right?
I know we're both thinking that. I think we're both thinking about Ted Cruz and how he looks with that beard now. He used to not have a beard. Okay.
What is he hiding?
What is he hiding? He's hiding that he needs to go to Mexico and go. Okay. Anyways, so moving on with the apps and stuff. It's not only the feed's been a problem for me, and it's like bugging me. It's like you can't get to your audience like I used to. Like my history of learning video was I jumped on YouTube, and that's where I found my first audience, where I had like 5,000 people watching my stuff.
Well, give us a timeline here. When was this?
Oh man, so that had to be between 2008 and 2010.
Okay.
Maybe a little bit after that. There's like when I jumped
on. So YouTube was around, and like the quality started getting good, and internet speed started catching up.
I literally thought that I was gonna be a YouTuber.
Yeah.
I was like, because I was making $100 a month. At the in those times,
$2,008.
Those Obama times. That's a lot of money in my internet.
Post recession, that was big money.
Yeah. But I remember thinking it was going to be a deal, and now I would post something on that channel and it maybe get 6 views.
Oh yeah.
And now they got stories, and now every app has a story. But what I know has been working, and this completely different way of how I think apps used to work, is the Snapchat, Matt. And if you use Snapchat at all?
I have, but not currently.
Not currently.
Yeah.
So if you open up what I call the hot map. I think it's called the hot map, and you can see where like people have posted publicly to their Snapchats.
Okay.
And if there's a lot going on in that area, there's like a hot. It's actually like a red dot, and you click on that, you can go through everyone's snaps. Now they also added Spotlight, which is just the version of TikTok. Everyone's stealing everyone's stuff. So, but if right now, if I would post something to the hot map, and we were funny enough or good enough or whatever, it would be public.
Yeah.
And I've noticed that I will get thousands of hits, and I'll get like 50 likes, which is like astronomical. Like, that's a big word I was trying to say, and it was not going to come out. It would have been a very large number.
Boston Dynamical.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Compared to what my social media really is. And that makes me think, like, man, people that actually have some kind of like influencer,
like they were stroking your ego there. They were like, hey man, you're on this platform, you got big things going on, kid. You got big things.
Yeah. So I'm like, now I'm always wondering now, and us being in the sphere of media, is like, where the heck are we supposed to put this content that we make now, and how are we supposed to market and advertise it? Because I think I'm not sure where to go anymore.
Yeah, and I mean the point that I think you're really bringing up there is just how often the rules of the game change. Because it's not just, I mean, there's a lot of people thinking about this. It's not just the app provider, it's also the audiences, right? Like as the new thing comes out, whether it's Snapchat or TikTok or whatever, you tend to have a really young audience that jumps on immediately, and they kind of define the content in a big way, in terms of like how long they're going to watch something, like what isn't annoying that I would imagine is annoying, but what goes viral and becomes, it's like people explaining really basic stuff, like explainer videos are somehow a big deal on TikTok. And I love them. It could be me telling you like, how to use hair product. And it's like, who doesn't know how to do this? But like people are into that.
People don't. And like, sometimes I notice some things I do watch. Like I watch a lot of old film tutorials and video tutorials. And sometimes I'll watch it just to be, when it's done watching, I'll be like, I knew all that stuff. I feel better about myself. It's like, they didn't tell me nothing.
Validation.
Yeah, I am not joking. It's total validation.
It's like a fist bump, basically. You just needed the fist bump.
I did.
Like, attaboy, Dustin.
That's funny. So do you watch any TikTok? I guess you watch a little bit of TikTok then.
I mean, so honestly, I do a lot of Instagram, which everything kind of bleeds over into that now.
I think it's the best overall one, because TikTok is like new and everything's freaking out, and Facebook is just angry and everyone just hates Facebook anymore. Yes. But Instagram still has this feeling like you can make stuff and people aren't freaking out on you.
Yeah, and it really hasn't. Like, I think Instagram, as much as they've changed things, like the people that used to be doing things on there that were just like critique my photos or like whatever, street photographers, they still exist. Like they still have a platform. But then when it comes to like influencers, like that whole world exists there too. And somehow Instagram's okay with that. I'm okay with it, but apparently, they're okay with people still finding each other on there.
I think that's a funny thing where you were saying about like the young generation that starts with the app kind of makes like, that's what it kind of evolves around it. Because when I first got on YouTube, when I was saying like I was making money, one thing I also loved was just taking in knowledge. I think I watched like hundreds of TED Talks on YouTube. And then I always thought like, oh man, this is going to be great. There's going to be all this knowledge and all these new artists and movies. And then after the years, it's just music videos and vlogs. Yeah. Like it just became just like day of a life of just the goofiest, and some obviously very talented and crazy things have come from there. But I feel like that's the focus. And I think people, when they think of TikTok, they're like, oh, what's that? Just the dancing and the booties and like the viral music and stuff like that. But there is a whole other ecosystem, because the algorithm I think works better, where like I will watch it, and even who Hank Green is, or the Green Vlog Brothers, it's just more educational stuff. Yeah. And you just said, like you were saying, like explainer videos, where like there's a whole ecosystem there that I really don't get a lot of booty flapping in TikTok. I know that you could just you can go down all
the booty rabbit bunny hole. I guess
there's a serious bunny hole where there's just nothing but thirst videos, and you got to try to stay away, because the
influencers, or what do they call themselves? Digital creators or something.
Influencers is now the word, but the problem with the word influencers. Who do you think came up with the word influencers?
Oh gosh, probably somebody political. I don't know.
The ad agencies.
Okay.
Because that's even when I used to work. Well, I say I used to because COVID took all the jobs away. Is like they needed to use words with marketing and stuff like that, where it wasn't talent. It was like a little different.
They could pay you less.
Exactly.
Didn't have to put you in a
Oh,
union, right?
I was getting to that. You're right. You said it but that's the word. So it's funny to hear what an influencer is, and then it's funny to hear now on the other end of people actually say that to themselves. Like, what are you? It's like, I'm an influencer. It's like, what does that mean? What skill do you have? That's what I'm saying. What skill do you do?
It's you can borrow my brand. That's
Yes.
what they're doing. You can borrow my brand. If the price is right, you can borrow my
This
brand.
is the weirdest capitalism and of art ever. I think if it wasn't, actually, now I'm going back into politics again, but like that word just doesn't, like, as a true artist, you would never, that word does not make any sense. I'm sure like 20 years ago, like, what's that mean?
Well, it's that separation between a thing that you're an expert or known for versus just being able to automatically associate yourself with that thing just because of your following.
Yeah. Like, here's a good example I thought of.
The Kardashian effect, man.
Yeah. Cardi B. Love her music. I think it's crazy. I'm just hearing the word and I just like, yeah, I get excited about it. I'm like, it sounds so cool. But at the same time, she uses her platform. I think she's trying to sell a protein shake or something like that. And she's like promoting it on Instagram stories.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even shaken up. So it's just this thick, like, dust at the bottom. And she doesn't know what it was called either. She couldn't remember. So she's like, she has to like look at the label and talk. And I was just like, Cardi.
Like that was take one, Cardi. We need to take two.
Yeah, and stuff like that. It's like I just forget that happened. I'll just turn your song on and like make it drop. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. I mean, well, and she's one that's kind of like figured out her own path as well.
Yes,
like going from the world that she came from, shaking her booty for money, and then taking those high dollars money and making a record deal. Like
I love the music.
Cardi B's my hero.
I actually like it too. Like when people like Ben Shapiro do like a react video, like that's fun. Like he's reacting, everyone's reacting, trying to be over the top. Like you love it, we all love it. So I don't know. We should end on a Cardi B thing. I feel that's a weird subject to end on.
Yeah, it gets into cancel culture. That gets back to politics, and it's just not good.
This is one reason I wanted to make this show. I realized that my Smart House background is not
I saw that.
Right.
Yeah, we're not on the 4K anymore.
Let's see if I can fix that real quick for the ending. That will be part of the ending here as I think of what to talk about. Say I wanted to do less politics.
Are you trying to bring it back home to Pittsburgh in the end? Like what's a good way to end?
Okay, no, we could do the one thing I was testing. Okay, so before you got here, I was testing the VR, and I should be able to put you in VR, and we'll be able to see the back of it. So let's see if we can.
Getting prepared here.
Yeah, like we'll see if we can do all these things. See if I can actually.
Oh wow.
We gotta keep talking.
I was gonna say my VR experience.
Talk me about your VR.
What's the Victory Point in Southside had that, and you could play the kitchen game they had up there. They had some shooters and things like that, and then Beat Sabers. That was always.
So you actually have some decent experience.
Everybody appreciates Beat Sabers and usually ends up smacking the controller against something or someone the first time.
Crazy. I was gonna put tall.
Okay, so I'm just like outside of the field of view or something.
Yeah, try to sit down.
Wow, these are only like halfway folded. They need to.
Yeah, like I said, like that's one thing. There's like two ways to set it up. There's two ways to set it up, and one is like a stationary way.
You go get that.
And the other one, you actually draw how big the room is, so you can physically walk around. So yeah, if you get out of the space, which is even cooler because the cameras turn on and you can see.
That's what I was getting. There.
Yeah. Oh, careful! You're gonna hit the laptop.
I can't see.
It's so close. See if you can move on to. Oh, I lost your feed.
Oh, I'm still here. Okay. I don't know. I gotta try to get that ping pong paddle now. It's right.
You gotta hit the laptop.
Oh,
you gotta hit the laptop. It's so.
I got it. Okay,
It's so
we're good.
funny.
We're good. Oh, this is gonna be This is like the most complex.
See if there's a blimp and there should be like a controller to the left of you.
It's gone forever now. That's not coming.
Is there a video game or something you could play on the right? There should be like you could pick up like a cart.
Oh geez. So I think I'm on the table's on your side.
Oh, so we're like it's like not perfect.
Now there's missiles. I think maybe I don't know what that is, but it's too close to your laptop. I'm just gonna knock these blocks off with my ping pong paddle.
I wish I get to like if you could maybe. Oh man, it's funny. I don't want you to knock stuff over. It's so funny.
There you go. I'm gonna build a little tower. Yeah, this is good. It's good.
Because what is really cool is if you could eventually grab, it'll give you a gun and you can start shooting guns and stuff with laser guns.
Oh snap!
And the way it works, if we can maybe look to your right. Let's just see. Let me look around.
Glass everywhere.
Look to your right.
Oh, so there's this.
Oh, there's that.
Oh,
Grab
sorry.
that. That's and then look to your left. That is a blimp. Look up a little bit.
Oh snap! Okay.
A little bit more to
Use
your.
the stick to steer.
You see the blimp?
I see hot air balloon.
I don't know where the blimp went.
Oh, it's behind me. It's like literally behind me.
Well, I think my experience with the blimp was it's hard to fly. Is like I picked up another thing when it came at me because I thought it was gonna hit me for real in real life, and I swung and it really worked and it really backed off me and I was like, oh my god, everything's so immersive.
The horn works. That's good.
Next time I'm definitely gonna have to like pre-set up the VR so we're not like stuck in our seats.
This is like the kid who gets like the off-brand VR like for Christmas.
It's like you can play but you can't move. All right, you have
Mom,
to be.
somebody else is already on this account. I was like, yes, that is how it was advertised.
Why is the internet so slow? It's got the neighbor's internet. But this is working quite well, to be honest, because it's green screen behind us, and that was kind of my goal.
No, that's really cool.
Eventually, we'll have someone playing Beat Sabers behind us.
Now you just need to like import more Yinzer objects. Like there needs to be some fries for everything that I can just.
Well, that's why I need a developer now to like make a Yinzer VR game, and then we can just have that in here, and that would be great.
Oh, I totally broke that. Awesome.
It does. So you said you've been in VR before. I'm holding the mic close to you. You can get out if you want. Woo. So you can talk about your experiences. Like, what do you see in the future of like this being? Obviously this is just for video games and stuff, but you would think there'd be much more.
Yeah, like I think honestly one of the most exciting things with technology, all comes back to the internet. And so when you think about VR, it's like, what does a VR sandbox look like where you have multiple people interacting with things and each other in a room?
Mm-hmm.
So, there's certainly like we need to do this for science and humanity aspect of like a surgeon being able to consult from the other side of the world sort of things. But I don't know, there's like a lot of it in there for meeting new people and like educational things, and even just like like think about product demos maybe. Like
sorry, the best part about this I realize is you have that big red line.
Wait, it came back with me.
Yeah.
It's real.
That's I think of my daughter when she goes somewhere, she has to go to like practice or something like that, and she gets home, and I think she used to think of me like if I'm not home, she's away, like I'm working, I'm cleaning the house, I'm doing very many adult dad things.
Yeah.
And she comes home and I have this huge mark on my head, and I was like, I was in VR for 6 hours.
Yeah. Yeah. There's like a Call of Duty or something like that. Funny video where the dad comes back from Call of Duty and like pretends like it's real wartime or whatever.
Yeah.
I can imagine.
Funny. But I'm sorry. Yeah, no. Back to what you said with COVID. Now, I'm sure. I don't know if it got too crazy, but do you think if like this happened again 10 years from now, and now we're just not getting into Zoom calls, we're going to the Matrix, or we're going anyways? It seems like.
Yeah. I mean, it's that, and then I think the biggest thing that I want to see come out of it that I haven't seen as much of is it's kind of like with 3D movies. Everybody made a big deal about the visuals, but the thing with each iteration of 3D movies was actually the audio was the bigger part of the immersion. So like, what's the one in space with Sandra Bullock and I forget.
Like Gravity?
Gravity, yeah.
Yeah.
So they made a big deal about the 3D in that, but they also use like 7.1 surround sound.
Yeah.
And as you're looking in different directions and, the whatever space debris is flying at you, you're literally getting an audio cue that's letting your brain know that's happening.
Yeah, I guess it's the levels. It's like first we're getting VR, and then you get the sound thing. That kind of goes to where I like my new setup for Call of Duty. I do play Call of Duty. Is I have good speakers or good headphones. So if someone's walking up behind me from the left side, I realize that, and it has that a little bit built in. Obviously, there's nothing on your ears.
Yeah.
But they're making full suits. Where it's all tracking, and if you get punched here, you'll feel it or something. It's
Well, so
really
it's like those
intense.
senses, but I think it's also avatars, like people wanting
Yes.
to, so like we're here in Pittsburgh, furries are a pretty big deal. I can imagine Anthrocon, like if it needed to happen virtually, like people are just jumping in their virtual furry suits, and now,
Oh, I didn't think of that. Is
you
that
know,
happening? I feel like that's already happening.
if it is, they didn't tell us yet.
This is why we can talk about this forever, because then there's a program, or I guess app, or a company called Roblox, and they actually
Yeah,
they just went public on
yeah,
the
yeah,
stock market, and they kind of have that VR like community thing where a
mm,
lot of people, it's like Player One. You are like your avatar.
yeah.
People, and there's many people just dressed up in furry type outfits, anime outfits. That seems to be the popular because Japan is at it first. But where's when is that time where it's gonna be like, where's the real world, and what, like, it's gonna be so gray line here soon, I think.
Well, it's the same thing, it's definitely a generational thing. Like a lot of people with young kids will tell me that, as soon as they figure out what an iPad or a smartphone is, they want to go up to the TV and touch it and have it do the
Yeah.
same thing. So it's an expectation thing. Like if you've
So
grown up with it and lived with it, you are just going to expect more, and you're going to, naturally kind of get into that. Whereas I don't know, I wouldn't consider myself old yet, but I'm going to get there soon. And
yeah,
I'm just wondering, like, what is the thing going to be where I'm going to be like,
I'm done.
eh.
I think about that. And I think about that now for work, where it's like some of the new camera stuff, and even when I'm setting up now, I'm like, I'm tired.
Yeah.
And it took me 6 hours to set up for this, Ryan. I hope this is a good show, because we're doing a lot of testing. But I'm like, I'm done. I'm just like
Yeah,
gonna
it's
be
like
that guy
but
now.
then you get to complain. Like
Yeah,
it's like you get to look forward to complaining about things.
right.
So it's like the tech things that you're excited about, and then eventually the things you get to gripe
I
about.
just need to go outside, I think, is our problem is. So.
I thought we just were, but where was I?
Oh, I can change this. We can go. Yeah, we were in space. We were in virtual space. We can go outside. That's our next clip. All right, Ryan, we're going to wrap this up. I think that was a great conversation. I thank you for coming on. You want to give us any plugs, your Twitter account or anything like that?
Oh gosh, I'm Haggerty Media online, so you can find me at Haggerty Media on Facebook and Instagram. And yeah, thanks for having me down here and like getting to show off all these cool toys and
Yeah,
getting to play.
awesome. Thank you. And just to go over everything, this is our network. We're on OnPoint Podcasting, and the whole media production company is I can't even get my plugs right. TheGateway.media. You can check us out on Facebook, Twitter. I think we're also on Instagram. You use Google for all this. People can find us, and I'll add it in the description. Once again, thank you for coming, Ryan, and thank you guys for watching.